Last week, I spent 3 hours using AI to help me create the perfect workout routine. I then used it to help me create the perfect meal prep plan. Then I reorganized my entire Notion setup for the 10th time, and by the end of the week, I hadn't written a single word for my next video script, which was the only thing I actually needed to get done. And this happens to me all the time. If you have ADHD, this might sound painfully familiar. You spend hours getting things done, but you never make any progress on the things that actually matter. You will literally do everything you can to avoid doing the most important task. This is exactly what I done every single day until I discovered Brain FM. I know, super dramatic intro. So I spent 60 days using this AI-powered music app every single day to manage my ADHD focus, and it's completely changed the way my brain works. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what happened during those 60 days, the specific results I got, and whether it's actually worth your money or not. Alright, so before I talk about Brain FM, you need to understand just how bad my focus was. Imagine this, it's 4 in the afternoon, I've smashed my gym workout, finished work, and picked up my son Charlie from childcare. I now have an hour dedicated to focus on content creation. I sit down at my computer, ready to write my next video script. I open up a new document and then just nothing. My brain immediately shuts down and starts looking for distractions.
What are you doing? I'm distracting you.
And before I know it, that hour has flown by and I haven't written a single word, except for the words Mario Kart tutorial on YouTube. And this happened to me every single time I sat down to try and focus on something. I could focus for maybe half an hour at a push before my brain needed a break, and that's on a good day. On the bad days, I'd spend the entire morning researching the perfect productivity system instead of actually being productive. And yes, I realize the irony in that. I tried everything. YouTube had hundreds of these ADHD focused playlists, lo-fi beats, white noise, classical music, you name it, I tried it, but none of them actually worked. I'd put on some ambient music, start writing, and 10 minutes later, I'd be watching the latest episode of One Punch Man. And the worst part was that I knew I was capable of hyperfocus. Every now and then, my brain would lock into this incredible flow state. I'd look up and realize I'd been working on something for 4 hours straight, but I had no control over when this happened. It was like having a superpower that I hadn't learned how to control yet.
I can't do it.
That's when I started researching AI tools specifically designed for people with ADHD. Some of them helped a little bit, but then I came across Brain FM and it was very different to all of the other tools I tried. It didn't promise to fix my ADHD, it promised to work with it instead. Their website talked about scientifically designed music and amplitude modulation technology. Honestly, I kind of thought it was complete nonsense. Why would I pay for music when I could get ADHD playlists for free on YouTube? But I saw they were offering a 7-day free trial, so I thought, I'd give it a try. And that's when everything changed. Nah, I'm just joking. Obviously, it didn't happen that quickly. So here's what did happen week by week. The first week was honestly kind of underwhelming. I put on my noise cancelling headphones, opened Brain FM, clicked on their focus mode. The music was fine. Like, it wasn't distracting, but it wasn't mind-blowing either. Just ambient instrumental sounds with a calm rhythm. I managed to write for about 45 minutes before my brain started wandering again. But here's what I did notice. I didn't get distracted by the music itself. With YouTube playlists, I'd always end up clicking through to other videos or getting annoyed when a song I didn't like came on. Brain FM just kind of stayed on in the background. It was consistent, no sudden volume changes, no lyrics to pull my attention away. Week 2 is when things started to change. I was using the focus mode every afternoon during my content creation blocks, and I started noticing something kind of weird. My usual pattern was to write for 20 minutes, then check YouTube, then write for another 15 minutes. But with Brain FM playing in the background, those interruption signals didn't have as much impact on me. I started timing my focus sessions with Brain FM's very helpful built-in timer, and I was constantly reaching the 1 hour mark. Now, that might not sound like much, but for my ADHD brain, going from 30 minutes to 60 minutes was huge. It literally doubled my focus. I actually finished an entire video script in one sitting for the first time in months. Weeks 3 and 4 were when I became a true believer. I know, super dramatic. I was managing my work inbox, and if you have ADHD, you know that email is basically kryptonite for our brains. Every email is a potential rabbit hole, but with Brain FM running in the background, I stayed locked in for 2 hours straight, got the inbox down to 0, and actually felt quite energized afterwards instead of mentally exhausted. But the real breakthrough moment came when Charlie had woken up about 20 times during the night. Charlie's my son, by the way, not just some random guy that lives with us and wakes up screaming every hour. I was running on maybe 4 hours of broken sleep, feeling completely worn out, and I had a full day of work ahead of me. Usually a bad night's sleep would destroy my productivity for the next few days, but I put on Brain FM and somehow managed to hyperfocus on my most important tasks. It was like the music created this protective bubble around my head. It was really weird, but it protected my attention. The second month is when Brain FM became a non-negotiable for me. I was using it for everything: work sessions, content creation, even during my wind down period before I sleep. I started creating YouTube thumbnails in batches, something that used to take me days spread across multiple sessions. With Brain FM, I could sit down and create 12 high quality thumbnails in one evening. I even used it when writing the script for this video that you're watching right now. It was actually insane that this one AI powered music app was making such a big difference to my everyday life. And I found that one of the most helpful features was the different session lengths. You can choose 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, or even longer. For my ADHD brain, knowing that there's an actual endpoint helps me to focus way better. It's like my brain can relax knowing it only needs to stay focused for a certain amount of time. So yes, Brain FM is amazing, and it did actually help me. But I want to be completely honest with you here and tell you about when it didn't work. It's not magic. If I was having a bad day, stressed out about money, tired from Charlie keeping me awake, or just generally feeling overwhelmed, the music couldn't fix that. It's not a magic potion. And there were days when even when I was using Brain FM, I'd still end up procrastinating by optimizing my workout routine or, doing other things instead of actually writing my scripts. I also found that the effect Brain FM has really depends on the type of work you're doing. So for creative tasks like writing or design work, it was incredible. For admin stuff like updating spreadsheets, it was helpful, not really transformative. And for anything that needed a lot of decision making or problem solving, sometimes the music was actually a bit distracting. So is Brain FM actually worth using? After 60 days of trying it for myself, these are the results. My average focus session went from 30 minutes to 2.5 hours. That's literally 5 times the amount of focus I had before. I managed to create 15 thumbnails and write 4 video scripts in the space of a few days. I can now hyper-focus on work for up to 3 hours at a time. So yes, it did help, but there were also some unexpected benefits which were even more valuable to me. My sleep improved because I wasn't staying up late trying to finish work that I procrastinated on during the day, and even my parenting improved because I could actually keep on top of everything, which meant I had more room to spend quality time with Charlie. But like I said, it's not perfect. It hasn't magically fixed my ADHD. I tried using it during my wind down routine, but I found that the music I was listening to was quite overstimulating, so I used the Insight Timer app for this instead. It has genuinely made a massive difference to my focus during the daytime. If you use the link down below in my description, you'll get a 30-day free trial, so you can go ahead and try it out for yourself. Now, just to make this very clear, this video is not sponsored by Brain FM. I did actually reach out to them to try and become an affiliate, but they politely said no because my audience size is too small at the moment, which is fair. So yeah, I don't get paid for making this video, but I just genuinely wanted to show you how helpful it has been and give my honest review of it. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you are someone who can already hyper focus but struggles to control when that happens, then Brain FM is perfect. If you work alone most of the time and do creative or analytical work, then you'll probably see results quite quickly. And if you're already using noise cancelling headphones and instrumental music or like YouTube playlists or something like that, this is just a more effective way of doing that. But if your ADHD is more hyperactive than inattentive, then this might not be the best option for you. So if you're working in environments where you can't actually wear headphones, then obviously this probably won't help much. So 60 days later, I'm still using Brain FM every single day. It's become an essential part of my morning routine. It took a while to convince me, but I am glad I stuck with it, and I still can't believe how much it's actually helped with my focus. All right, so let's quickly recap what we've covered in this video. Brain FM is an AI-powered focus app that uses scientifically designed music that targets your prefrontal cortex, which is the exact part of your brain that ADHD affects the most. It works because it provides consistent patterns without lyrics and creates external structure that ADHD brains desperately need. For me personally, it transformed my focus sessions from 30 minutes to 2.5 hours. And most importantly, it gave me back control over my hyper-focus sessions instead of just waiting for it to randomly happen. But here's what I want you to take away from this video. Brain FM didn't magically cure my ADHD. I still procrastinate sometimes, I still hyper-focus on the wrong things, and I still get overwhelmed. What Brain FM does do is give my ADHD brain a steering wheel, and all that chaotic energy can actually be directed to where I need it to be. If you have ADHD or you're struggling with focus like I was, use the link in the description below for a 30-day free trial. Try it tomorrow morning, put on your headphones, click focus and work on one task for 30 minutes. Your brain will know within those first few sessions whether or not this works for you. And if you want more practical AI and ADHD content like this, I have a free email newsletter that cuts through all the noise. It shows you exactly how to use these tools in your everyday life as someone with ADHD or as a busy parent. Links down below if you're interested. If you found this video helpful at all, then you might like to check out this one over here where I talk about the free AI tools that help me run my ADHD life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.